When you know within yourself that there's something you want to do, and I believe that all of us were born with a purpose, that all of us have something that we are supposed to do, that all of us have some goodness within us, and that goodness gives us a responsibility to manifest our greatness. And when you know that, you can feel it in your guts, and you know that you're deliberately operating below your potential. You've gotten comfortable. You stop expanding, you stop stretching, you stop challenging yourself. Let me share something else with you. Not only is it possible for you to have your dream, but it's necessary. It's necessary that you have it, that you work on it, that you develop yourself, that you go for what is yours in the universe.
Morning, here we are. We've just had a 2-hour drive down from Calais. We all met up at Folkestone, like early hours of the morning. 2-hour drive down across to here to the lovely Les Etangs de Chantereine. I won this in a competition on Facebook for me and 4 friends. Spoke to the owner. He's given us a whole lake exclusive, so we've got a few of the DNA lads. We're down here for a week. So we'll go over back, do a draw and see how we get on for the rest of the week, where we're going. So the draw's done. I managed to pull out peg 4, which is a nice big double mid-centre of the lake, so I'm happy with that. I managed just to put the rods out quickly, sort of get the house sorted up and get everything sorted for that. Jay's pulled out peg 6. Steve's in peg 7. Daz is in 8, and I've got Callan opposite me. And I've got Carl and Nick to my right. So we're here for the week. It's happy days. Let's sort of, fingers crossed, you know, we'll get a few fish under our belts and show you the stunning fish that are in here in the Chantereine.
It's the first one of my session. It's the second fish of my session. Third fish of the session, and it's a new PB for me. Fourth one of the session. The one fall into the baited area. This one again off the baited area out in the middle of the lake. 25 pounds, 30 pounds, 47, 54 pounds, 6 ounces.
Never let you go. I'll never let you go. Never let you go.
I've opted to bring out the Nutteress bait this week in France. It's always done me well in France in previous trips and anywhere abroad. I use it back home as well, and I just love the smell of the nutter bait. It does fish as well, so the fish obviously love it. I'm just going to talk you through my mix and my presentation, how I'm fishing the nutter range out here in France. It consists of the Nutteress products, the pellet, the boilie, and the liquids, and obviously the pop-ups on my rigs that I'm using. So to start with my mix, I'll always put a big tin of sweet corn in. It's a visual attractor and the fish love it. It's something that I'll always put in my mix. whether I'm abroad or back at home or any fishing at all really. The fish just love sweet corn. So first of all, I put a big tin of sweet corn in. I'll then go and crush some of the nutteress boilies up. So there's quite a bit of chop in there, bits and pieces of the boilie. It just keeps the fish rooting around when they're in the bottom really. Rather than whole boilies straight out of the packet, I'll always crush some up. Just it adds little bits to it, and you can change your hook baits a lot more as well. You can fish little bits, and you can crush them, and you can chop bits off the side, just so they're not a straight out the packet round boilie out in the lake. I've added some nutteress pellet in as well. I find the fish sort of really get into the pellet and keep them rooting around longer. The scent stays there, and when they start to break down, there's little bits which get in any sort of little nooks and crannies in the bottom and keep the fish searching around for more food. I've used the nutteress hydro spod syrup as well in my mix. I find it's really attracted to the fish, and it binds the mix together well. I'm fishing in 20 foot of water out there, so when I'm putting the bait out, I want it to go right to the bottom. I don't want it spreading out as it's falling. Fishing 3 rods on a real tight area, so getting the bait to the bottom in one go is my main priority really. The last thing I've put into my mix is 12mm nutter boilies. Not too many full boilies. I've only put a handful in, just because I'm fishing a 12mm pop-up, and it's the same as what's out there really. I try to keep my hook baits pretty much similar or near as I can to the bait I'm putting out. I don't want something blatant in their face. So putting some 12mm nutteress boilies along with a 12mm pop-up, it just matches the hatch really. Like I said with the 12mm boilies that are in the mix, I'm fishing a 12mm nutteress pop-up on a fluorocarbon D-rig. I've critically balanced it so it acts more like a wafter, tipped with a bit of corn just for the visual aspect. But with the fish getting on the feed, I'm going to put this on the rod, put it back out on the spot, and hopefully we'll bag another one.
So a little bit of history about the lake where we are for the week. So the name is Les Etangs de Chantereine. It's about 18 acres in size. The owner, Andy James, he's had it open season for five years, but I think he's been trying to have it for like about 10 years. So he stocked it with about 180 to 200 fish on the 5 years previous. All the fish were over £30. The biggest fish came out last year at 58. There was 2 mirrors, a 58 and a 56. They haven't been out this year. Obviously, we're back end of April, first week of May. So they were putting on about £4 or £5 a year. So they should be over £60. So this year it would be obviously do its first 60. Speaking to Richard the bailiff, which again, fountain of knowledge. The guy's lived here forever long. He stays here 9 months of the year over there, and he's in his little tent and stuff. And so, like for this, he said there was two commons came out about 47 and 48. So that could be two £50 commons this year. Again, 18 acres in size. There's like a plateau area out in the middle. Sort of an average depth out in the middle is like 15, 16 foot with like a few lumps and bumps. You've got a shallow end down the end here with a few stalking spots with a few snag trees. It's pretty much got a bit of everything. You can't really see where the camera is, but we might get some footage later, but the water is gin clear. And as soon as we all walked on here, you feel like you're back in England. The fish are absolutely stunning, black, not what you'd normally get from your typical French fishery really, and we saw some of the pictures from the guys previous last week, and people were like, oh yeah, they've come from England, those fish are from England. They're not. These fish in here, the water's gin clear, the fish are dark. Yeah, we can't wait to start catching a few of them.
Right, we've landed, we're here in France, and I'm lucky enough to come first out the draw to come down into the Stalking peg. I've had a little mooch down, I've come round, I've looked at some spots, you can see where lads have been maybe baiting up from the week before. So I've had a good mooch around, and I think now I've found somewhere I'm comfy with having a go. So I'm going to get myself set up now, first for the Stalking. Let's see if we can get off the mark. Right, I'm happy with my spot now that I've found. So I've been and crumbed up a load of S7. Might take anywhere bait really, S7. It just gives me confidence wherever I go. Don't have to worry about other baits going in or whatever. It just does the trick, really does do the trick. But I've crumbed it down for this because I just want a little mouthful around my hook bait once I get it out. I've opted to use a boat because there's definitely fish in there, and I don't want to be casting into the hole and spooking them out. And so S7 already crushed. There's a little bit of hemp, a little tiny bit of corn in there. So I'm going to add beta stim, really underrated liquid, but a really good liquid. So I'm going to get a little bit of beta stim straight in there. And then the Hydrospods, S7, absolutely belting. Going to give that a really good mix up now. Just get them liquids through the powders that are in the crush, get the hemp and get it all mixed up, and get quite a stodgy mix with it really. And then I've opted, while we're around here, I just want to see if I can nick that quick bite. So the little PB pop-ups in 12mm, a little bit of the booster. I'll just put a little bit of that in the tub now before we get the hook bait on, just to give it that little bit just to give it that little bit of boost. So that's them ready to go. So I've mixed that up, a little bit more liquid again, and just keep doing the same until I've got this mix as I want this mix to be. Missed my chance this morning. It was just really, the fish were just cruising over the top of the bait and it just seemed a little bit disinterested, so we put a little bit more bait out and we've left them to it. We've been watching it during the day, so I've nipped back down this evening and I've managed to sneak a 46-4 mirror. So same methods, just sneaking the boat out onto that spot. They've been visiting in the day, just clearing up. So I'm back in my swim now and getting the rod out, last rod then, ready for tonight, and fingers crossed a little bit more will take place.
Morning. This is my early morning wake up call here at Les Etangs de Chantereine. 42.4, 42.8. Yeah, happy days, mate. Had a couple of bleeps and then it just absolutely ramped off. Took my other middle rod out, but yeah, I'm made up with this. They said they fight like Stalking here, and they certainly do give a good appearance themselves. So here we are. I had a fish this morning. I had a 42.8 this morning. just sort of going to talk you through like the tactics, not tactics, but how I'd approach my swim when I came in here. Like, you know, I'm here for a week. It's not an easy water. I sort of set myself a target of 2 fish. People will go 2 fish, but it's one of those things. It's not one then they're going to start crawling up your rods. You've just got to approach it right. You know, it's the water's gin clear. It's not an easy lake. You know, everyone thinks that you're on holiday, they're all going to run up, you know, they're going to crawl up your rods. It's not always the case on this. You know, the guys before, they sort of averaged a couple of fish each. Carl had 12 fish, which is great angling on here. You know, I think one of the guys, I think the record is one guy had 29 fish in a week. You know, so for me, to start with, I'd sort of set myself targets, a couple of fish a week, or a couple of fish, reach the targets, and then just sort of just go from there. So how I'd approach this is, you know, like, we arrive on the Saturday, so I'd sort of set my house up, have a plumb around in the swim, just sort of get a feeling what's out there. So I wouldn't sort of put all my eggs in one basket. I would sort of say, right, okay, I'll put 2 rods on bait, have a like, see what the swim provides in front of me, really. So on here, I've got a sort of tree out on the far margin. There's a big hard spot about 75, 80 yards. So I put a big bucket of bait on that sort of straight away. I've also got a margin spot in about 11, 12 foot of water that I can walk round from the swim and sort of bait up across the side. So I've done that as well. So I can just bait up with a spoon, but also go out there. I went out into the rowboat rather than disturb it with spodding and everything else. I just went out with a boat, put the marker up, and literally just put all the bait around in one big hit. Because the bailiff sort of says big beds of bait do work, but they won't sort of work straight away. So I put some bait out. Luckily, I had a bite of it within about 36 hours. So all I'm going to say is, like, what I do, this is like a bucket, you know, Blue Peter jobby. This is a bucket I did earlier. But all I do is I get half a tin of corn, put it in the bucket. I sort of like I wouldn't say the washed out side, sort of approach. I just want to get all the flavours soaking into the bait, because it's quite deep out there. I want the flavours to go to the bottom and stay. You know, I want them to send like food signals through the water, but the food is on the bottom. So I'd put a good helping of, obviously, crushed up normal S7 through the crusher 2 or 3 times, so you've got dust, small pieces, bigger pieces, like proper big chunks through. And then I've done, 2.5 kilo of pellets. There's not really any small fish in here either, so that sort of gives you more options of food signals and breakdown times as well as that. So with that and the corn, so I've gained half a tin of corn, and then I put this in. This to me, since we've been using this, is an absolute edge for me. You know, I've taken it to sort of quite a few commercial waters, home and abroad, and this just transforms a boilie into like a mega boilie. So what I would do, I'd put a whole one of these into this bucket, and then I'd get lake water, fill that up again as well, tip that in, and that would say I did that straight away. And literally, it's, you know, you can see now the pellets have all broken down. Like the corn was yellow, and it's just like all dark. So that all the S7 flavours and the syrups and that is all sort of taken into it. So for me, and the food signals in that through the liquids, that's just going to be breaking down through the food column, sending the signals up to the fish. So again, you know, a lot of them are cruising around in like 16 foot above where I'm fishing. So you want to drag them down, and again, over that, all I was using was S7 wafter, a little bit of plastic corn, fluorocarbon D-rig, and then that got me the bite for the 42. So I'm hoping, I'm not going to put any more bait out. I've got a bucket of bait ready, but I'm hoping that I'll get another bite, maybe either end of back today, or if I don't, then I might put some more bait out. You know, like I say, the bailiff said they sort of get on the bait at the end of the week. So fingers crossed, that will be my approach. Well, here we are, it's Friday evening, we're having a barbecue, us and that, have a little bit of a social last night. We've had a fantastic week, and I can't say literally it's all down to Richard, like the bailiff. He's been a fantastic guy, he's been there when we needed him. See what I mean? You see what I mean?
You need to come.
Oi, listen, right? That's a hire van. Oi, if you put a dent in my car, I won't be happy. So here we are. It's on a Friday evening. Had a fantastic week here. Oh my God, it's not the easiest fishing. Don't get me wrong, but the fish in here are absolutely stunning. You know, I can't wait to come back here. So if you want to book anything, Richard, how do you go about booking it here?
Best thing you can do is just message the Facebook page, and we'll get back to you straight away.
So there you go, guys. Literally, if you want to come back out here and catch some stunning fish out here, 2 hours from Calais, here in France, literally message the Facebook page and you can be here doing what we're doing.
Well, Callum, you've had a good week here at Chantereine. You've had one of the A team and another 5 fish as well. What do you think of the place?
Oh, it's a stunning venue. Like I say, I've been lucky enough to catch one of the 18, 6 fish in total. It's an absolute gorgeous lake. Every fish is worth looking at. They're all in pristine condition. Yeah, it's just a lovely place. I myself definitely be coming back with a few friends. We'll tackle it a different time of year, see if we can catch some more fish. But yeah, it's a lovely lake. I'd like to thank Richard as well. Been a cracking bailiff, and yeah, he's a great host over at the lake. So he really does well around the lake.
Yeah, you're welcome, Paul, anytime. If you want to fish the lake, just drop us a message on the Facebook page and we'll get back to you straight away.